Yeah, it's a Christmas guide for writers. Two things. First, I was going to do this in December 2021, you know, the sensible time, but global shipping problems, shortages, Brexit. I mean, you and I need to be talking Christmas gifts for writers about 2 weeks ago. As this first goes out, it's a week or two into November 2021. So let's you and me find some skates. Second, this is a gift guide for writers, but that means it's a gift guide for you. I mean, you're allowed to buy yourself a present. I think you've rather earned it, haven't you? Still, not judging. If you want to leave this video playing on a loop somewhere for someone to see and pick you out something, then let me say hello to your friends and your fine, fine family. And actually, let me take this moment to say to you and them, of the 10 things I want to recommend to you this year, one of them, the very first, is really dear to me because it's mine. It's my new book. But then I'd also be a little bit failing in my duty if I didn't tell you that after that one, the rest are also dear, as in expensive. They go from pretty expensive all the way up to ugly expensive, but they aren't half good. Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is 58 Keys, which as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do subscribe because there's always so much to talk about. In fact, this time there are 10 things to talk about, starting with my new book. Look, I know you're a writer, but I don't know what sort of writing you're doing now or what sort of writing you're thinking of doing. Even so, I promise that interviewing people is going to help you. I mean, I think that's kind of a bit obvious, really, if you're planning to write non-fiction, books and articles and all that, because it's so clearly true with those. But I'm a scriptwriter and a prose fiction writer too. Through interviewing people, I believe I get authenticity from my scripts, certainly from my characters, and I get such stories. So, interviewing for authors and writers. It's about how you find people like this, how you approach them, what you ask, what you can use of what they tell you and what you can't, and a good, million or so things you wouldn't expect, yet you do need to know. Interviewing for authors and writers, my new book. It's on Kindle for a $5 in the UK or $6 in the States. Next, this one, it's kind of, I want to show you a type, I recommend a genre, if you like, of devices rather than a specific model, because the particular one I have is a little hard to get in different places. It's a car mount. Now, I'm partly recommending it because they're so useful, but also because a little bit of it is kind of a new toy for me. I used to use a car mount a lot when I was driving pre-pandemic. I would go to schools and things. I'd use, one of these standard sort of things. You clip your in thing, you put the phone in there and that stuff. Use that for years and years. And then after the pandemic, first time I went out in the car, it broke. I'm not going to blame it for breaking. I mean, 4 years, 5 of it. In fact, I'm so not going to blame it that I tried very hard to buy exactly the same one again. And I couldn't. You know how things are with this. Once available, now gone. So I had to shop around a bit, and it turns out that, well, to me, that's quite a bewildering range of car mounts for these things. But then there was this, and this one is special. In fact, I think, if traffic allows, I can show you what's special about it. Look. It's a MagSafe car mount. Let me pop that back on. Check nobody saw me. Yeah, it's a MagSafe one. Mine is an Otter Performance MagSafe dash car mount windshield thingy. I'll put the proper name, if I can remember it all, in links to the bottom, but like I say, it's hard to get. It cost me £30 here in the UK, and it doesn't appear to have a US equivalent. So what I'm really recommending is just a MagSafe car mount. I'm aware that there are certain territories where you're not allowed to put anything on your screen like this, but where you can, that ability to just get in, pop it on, drive where you're going, pop it off at the end. Fantastic. MagSafe car mounts. Did I say this? For MagSafe, you have to have an iPhone 12 or any of the iPhone 12s or iPhone 13. That could be a writing present too. Writer to writer, you need some new writing tools, some new writing apps. You do. I don't know what it is, but I find if I just swap to a different word processor, a new one, it actually makes me write more. And similarly, I do this, I write all day. Although there are apps that make the business of writing easier, I just don't 100% know which one to recommend to you for the list. I've narrowed it down quite a bit though, so let's try this. If you don't already have it, get OmniOutliner for Mac or iPad or both. Yeah, it's an outliner and actually it's very good for that, but what it's really about is taking bits of ideas and massaging them up into something more. So for instance, as I record this, the most recent thing I did in OmniOutliner was I planned out a 2-hour workshop event. OmniOutliner costs from $20 for either Mac or iPad, and it is superb. If you have got it though, try MindNode. Completely different, a visual tool for mind mapping, which is for taking bits of ideas and massaging it. It's like an accretion disk, really, isn't it? The globules form together and they form bigger ideas. As I say, totally different from the outline, but actually they really are in so many ways. I use them both, and often enough I use them both together, going back and forth. MindNode's free to an extent. You know how it works, $20 for a year subscription for everything, but free trial and free use for a lot of things. And okay, if you've got both OmniOutliner and MindNode, what are you doing to me here? Let's go in a totally new direction. Buy yourself Keyboard Maestro for the Mac. It will speed up your work in an estimated 11 billion ways. And Keyboard Maestro just updated to version 10. By the way, and actually that's the thought. I heard about it, the instant I heard about it, because they emailed me, I bought it straight away. And going through the process, I found out that I've previously bought versions 9, 8, 7 and 6. The new version 10 costs $36, and I do not want to work out how much that means I've paid over the years, because it's going to make me feel guilty. Not necessarily the way you think. I barely scratch, I barely nudge through the surface of what Keyboard Maestro can do, and yet I use it it's so useful. I use it excessively. I use a little bit of it excessively, to the point where at $36 for a few years of this stuff, it's practically embarrassingly cheap. The Anker PowerCore 20100, $49 or £47, but actually, just as with the MagSafe Car Mount, what I'm recommending is a type, a genre. I think any extra battery portable charger is good. It's just some of them are great, and I really like what Anker does. I've bought a few of Anker's over the years. You can't buy the ones I have anymore, but it looks to me like the next time I eventually need one, this PowerCore is the best balance of price and battery charge, except actually I'm less in need these days because my iPhone 13 Pro seems to be lasting much longer on a charge. Still, having an extra charger with you means you can keep going no matter what and no matter where. Right, I quite often come in to my office overnight. This is actually quite early in the morning, but it can be midnight and things. You walk in and you switch on the light and it's blinding. So normally I just try to feel my way around, except I don't have to do that anymore because of this. It's a Hue Motion Sensor. And because this is early in the morning, that light's actually set to come on not very bright, I think about 30% or something like that. During the daytime, when I do that, it doesn't come on at all. In the evening, do that, we're just walking to the office really, and it comes on full strength, if you like, 100% brightness. I can't quite actually see you over there. Let me just change this to normal daylight. Yeah, no, tricky one next to this thing. What I've just shown you is a Philips Hue Motion Sensor, and actually I'll show it to you because after years of intending to, and a really peculiar journey through Philips's website, best not to ask about that one, might put it in the comments. I've now bought one of these motion sensors in my office. I've had a few of these sensors around the house for some years, and by far the best is actually the one in the kitchen, because I can't count the number of times. You know, you go into the kitchen carrying something and I don't have to reach for a light switch or nudge anything because the sensor sees me and turns the light on. I can't count, and I don't really particularly want to, because the kitchen sensor, that's normal to me now. Enormous success. The landing just outside this office, great success. The bathroom, yeah, very handy, but as well as turning on a light, you can use these things to turn the light off after a certain interval, and I cannot figure out the best interval. What's good for brushing your teeth, not so good for having a long bath. But I tend to come into my office a lot. You just saw me early in the morning, but I'll come in the middle of the night. And, you know, I don't want to be blinded. Like I said, I want to find something. So now I have this motion sensor, which comes on at different levels throughout the day. I've set it that during the day it doesn't come on. I've set it so that in the evening it comes on bright, and overnight, and these things. It's a combination of using Apple's HomeKit and the Home app and the automation in it, but the motion sensor is key, and it alone costs £45, except you kind of also need a bulb, don't you? You used to need a Hue bridge as well, a device that sat somewhere in your house and talked to the sensors and the bulbs and the switches as well. And that's not so necessary now. Because take a look at this, the Philips Hue White and Colour Ambient Smart Light Bulb Starter Kit. Usually about £135 UK or $180 in the US. It includes a motion sensor, it includes 2 bulbs, no waiting, and a button. Always like a button. As I record this, by the way, we're in Black Friday territory, so you may be able to get better deals on all of this. This is a good time to get them. In April 2021, Apple launched AirTags, and maybe the highest praise you can give them is that, doesn't it feel like we've always had these? I mean, it's now normal. When I go away, I chuck an AirTag in my bag, and then you can use your iPhone to track down where an AirTag is. So if you lose your luggage, well, you'll find this and you'll find that. I haven't actually done that, but I've lost an AirTag in a bag in a big suitcase. Then I had to use it to find it. Right? More commonly though, I keep one on my keyring, and when I drive somewhere, especially somewhere new, I'll take off the AirTag and I'll leave that in the car. And this has helped me find my way back to the right parking space many, many times. One AirTag costs £29 or dollars, or for a 4-pack it costs $99. You will also need a keyring like the ones I've got here, and they can be anything from a couple of pounds like mine to far more than the AirTags themselves. I mean, literally, I believe you can spend hundreds on the little case. I mean, I'm not judging. Don't really think I'm able to judge when you see what's coming up next, but yeah. Excluding the case then, little bag thing, for the same price as a 4-pack of AirTags, you could buy a HomePod Mini as a present for yourself. HomePod Mini, it's a smart speaker that isn't as smart as Alexa, but then it's also not as much a privacy concern, and the music's great. I have two of the original HomePods, and they sound tremendous. And I actually bought a HomePod Mini last year as a present, and it was so good. I bought a second one for around the house. Being able to just call out, well, let's call it, "Hey Iris, play something I like," is tremendous. And since our HomePods are dotted throughout the house, I do use whichever one is nearest to call out across the rest of them that, you know, for instance, dinner's ready if I'm the one who's just cooked it. You do really need an Apple Music subscription to make it worth having one or more of these, but actually that's something that's changed recently. One of 2 things that have changed recently. Instead of the regular Apple Music subscription of $10 a month, or the family one of about $15 a month, you can pay $5 and have solely what's called Apple Music Voice. No app worth speaking of, no anything really, but the ability to ask Siri to play a particular track or one of the many new mood playlists, and that's Apple Music Voice. Also new is that you can now get the HomePod Mini in a small range of colours instead of solely black or white. Knock yourself out. HomePod Mini costs £99 or dollars, and I would say it was probably, you know, I'm not an audiophile, but I'd say for me it's the best way to listen to music. Yeah, except for what comes next. I've always needed noise when I write. I don't know why. I mean, I prefer newsrooms to libraries, but that is changing. Back when I started out as a freelance writer in the 1990s, and I was mostly working in newsrooms, I would be back here in my office and I'd have Radio 4 playing all day. I wouldn't have said actually that anything I was listening to would go in, but then later at night I'd watch the news and I realised I knew all of this already. Mind you, these days, who can face the news? Anyway, sometimes now, if the writing I'm doing is really complicated, I do need to shut out the world as much as I can. And weirdly sometimes if the writing is complicated, I need to bring music in. I can't explain it. I can't explain the inconsistency in me. But I can tell you that AirPods Pro work for both. AirPods Pro have noise cancelling, and it softens the world even when they're not playing music. And then when they are playing music, well, it's like, actually, no, they're not. You're in a film and there is great music on the soundtrack around you, great music. It feels like it's enveloping you. The world is full of music, and who couldn't enjoy a world full of music? AirPods and AirPods Pro, well, they're so good now that there are a dozen or 1,000 rivals. My recommendation is look at any of them. Any wireless earbud is great for when you're writing. I do think that Apple's ones, which kind of started off this genre, this type, are still the best, but that means there are two things for this. This recommendation is for two different things. There's the AirPods Pro, which is, they're $249, or about the same in pounds, and as you see, they're the ones I've got. But as of late October 2021, there are now a thing called AirPods 3. They look very similar. They have a similar fit in your ears, and as I understand it, the music quality is as good. What you don't get, though, is this noise cancelling, and that is a blow. But I'll admit, until I'd actually used noise cancelling, I had no idea it was this great. So you can definitely do without it, and if you do, then AirPods 3 cost £179 or $179 or £169. Apple Watch. This is actually what made me decide to do this whole writer's Christmas guide earlier than I was going to, because it is ferociously hard to get the latest Apple Watch Series 7. Of all the shortages in all the world, the watch is well up there. And here's an odd coincidental thing. I've written 2 or 3 articles now about this, starting with how the new watch instantaneously sold out, went on back order as it's called. And at the same time as writing about this for appleinsider.com, I was personally trying to buy one for my wife's birthday in several weeks' time. The single best way to get the Apple Watch Series 7 that you want, the different types, sizes, and bands, is to order it online. But when you do that, it goes, thank you very much, delivery is weeks and weeks away. You could instead go to an Apple store and get a watch right away, but it's very unlikely that they will have the type, the size, the band that you want, and it is very likely that they won't have any at all. I asked. My local Apple store told me that they do get deliveries of Apple Watch Series 7 every day, but they never know how many or of what type. So what I did, and I'm half recommending to you, is I ordered online and I watched the stores as well. When you order online, you can see the delivery date and whether the watch is available to be picked up then in the store. So I did order as soon as I knew what type my wife would like, but then every couple of days, partly because I was researching articles mostly for me, I would go back through the entire ordering process just to see at the end if there were ever a change and the watch she wanted was available in store. And then one day it was. So I cancelled my original order, ordered it anew, and chose this time to collect it from the store, and then ran into the store. Actually, after all that, I just gave her the watch. Now I have to find something new to give her on the day. Considering I thought about this an awful lot, I didn't really think this through. What I've got her is a Series 7 Apple Watch, and I think that's especially good for her because she was upgrading from a Series 1 for it. If you are entirely new to Apple Watch, the best one you can get for the mix of price and features remains the Apple Watch SE. Watch my playlist about this, by the way, about buying all sorts of Apple gear for details, but it just boils down to, in this case, the Apple Watch SE is the best value overall, and the Apple Watch Series 7 is possibly the one you want. Oh, and the Apple Watch Series 3, which is still available from Apple, is the one you should not ever buy. Apple Watch SE costs from $279 or £249. Apple Watch Series 7 is $399 or £369 and up. That's pretty expensive, and I've made it second on my top 10 list of presents for writers like us this Christmas. Yeah, which must mean the last one, number one choice, is very expensive. So, my book costs a couple of pounds or dollars. total bargain. The car mount was £30 for me and will be about that for you. Software like OmniOutliner starts around £20 or dollars but goes up. AirTags are $30 or pounds. HomePod Mini is $99. AirPods 3 are about $170. And now, number one, the best thing you can buy for yourself as a writer, or the very best thing you can get a fabulous friend or family to get you, is a new MacBook Pro. The price of which is, how much money have you got? They start at $2,000 or £1,899, and they go up to something around $6,000 or so. The thing is, it is hard to pick the right one, especially when actually the cheaper MacBook Air is on balance the right machine for us as writers, the right balance of price and features like the Apple Watch SE is. When you do anything more than writing though, you may be able to justify getting a stupidly powerful new machine for an ugly expensive price that keeps going up the more you fiddle. Actually, there's a lot to this. Take a look at my trying to break down the decision process for you. But you can watch that video anytime. I can now watch it many, many times as I'm having to wait weeks for mine to come. If you do want to buy a MacBook Pro as a Christmas present for yourself, and you're fine with the base models, the many ones that Apple thinks will sell the most, well, actually, you can order one online now and be pretty certain of being able to collect it that day or at most the next. Add anything though, like I added more storage, or even if you just add software at the end, then as I record this in the second week of November, your MacBook Pro isn't going to get to you until around mid-December. I think it'll be worth the wait though. Looks like it'll be worth the wait. Oh, the screen for a start. Am I drooling? I might be drooling. So the MacBook Pro is my Christmas present to myself. I mean, it is. It's the investment in my business that I require going forward into the new financial year. Yeah, please let me know if Santa brings you any of these 10, and indeed, actually, whether Santa gets an Apple discount on anything. That would be good to know. Thank you for watching this. I know I'm right about us doing it early this year, what with the shortages and the delays. I don't know, I'm just not really ready for it to be Christmas. No, actually, tell a lie. I think I'm very ready for it. That happened suddenly. Still, plenty of writing days before Christmas. So, take care of yourself, eh? Write more, and I'll see you soon.